Hi, my name is Diego and welcome to part 2 of what's going to be our Zoom tips for singers. And we are doing this series in order to help our singers that are taking lessons remotely to have the best experience possible. Let me also say that we are not endorsed or associated with the company Zoom, but we do believe that video conferencing is a great way to continue to do our lessons remotely. So definitely contact us if you are interested in that type of service. So on part 1, we covered the laptop and that it was very important to have two devices. On part 2, we want to definitely ask you for a couple of things. One is we need an environment that is fairly quiet. Sometimes we're getting some of our students there in the living room and we can hear other people talking. You can hear the TV. That can be very, very distracting, especially when you're singing something and maybe on the TV there's another song for a commercial or something coming up. So definitely we want to ask you to try to not be in a very crowded space. There's other distractions. We even have the microwave, some like Alexa doing a notification. All that stuff can get a little bit in the way. We have limited time with you, so we want to make sure that we get the most out of it. Now, another thing that is very, very important is that we want the second device to preferably be on the side of the first one. We don't want you to have the devices too close to one another, because one thing is that the first device can almost catch too much of, let's say, if you're playing a track. So we want to hear mostly you, and then let's say the background karaoke track or other things that we're playing, including the warm-ups, but we don't want to hear the track so loud that we can't hear you. So we want to give you or ask you to have a couple of options of where you're going to place the devices. So ideally, you want the laptop in front of you, fairly high, and then you want the second one probably on the side, but a little bit farther away. And then your teacher can tell you, can you get the second device a little bit closer because it's harder to hear? Can you raise the volume? But we do want options. So if you put the first device there next to one another on like a table, it's going to be a problem. If the second device is so far away that it's on the floor, it may be a problem. So definitely think these things in advance so you can make sure that the class goes smoothly. Now, another thing that we really recommend is to have a piano or a piano app. So this is a piano app that I have. It's free. So I think it's called The Piano. I really like this one because one thing that I have done in my, and things that I do, even on planes, sometimes I have used the app to figure out the key of a song, to figure out the chords, to figure out if I'm writing a melody correctly when I'm transcribing. So when you are a singer and your instructor tells you the first note of the verse is an F sharp, you can play it, and that way when you're practicing, you can be like, okay, this is my first note. Let me try to like sing it. So it is very important to have some type of way of playing. Sometimes you can even play chords. On this, you can play somewhat simply a chord. So your teacher can also tell you the chord that you start the song is this. So like play the chord, and with that, try to get your starting note. So very, very useful to have a keyboard or a piano. If you don't have one, we don't want you to necessarily go purchase one, but a free piano app is really good. And I think that one definitely works for an iPad. And I'm sure there's other ones for a phone. It may be a little bit tricky to get it on a phone because of the size, but definitely a piano app is a great choice. And another thing that we really want you to be able to know and to almost check this in advance is to be able to slow down tracks, our tracks on the course and YouTube tracks. So if you go to the settings of any video on either YouTube or on our course, there is a little dial on the bottom right side that you can click on it and get the playback speed change. Now, our suggestion is to play with full speed or maybe 0.75. When you get to 0.5, that may be so much of a stretch that is sometimes the audio gets a little bit destroyed. It's almost like all of the software that does the time stretching, which is the technical term. When you do time stretching, when it's close, it's very easy to do it and it's not that noticeable. But when you go big ranges, it really gets almost destroyed. So definitely 0.75 is a great choice for you to be able to use it in your lessons, because that way when you're singing the song, the teacher may say, can you slow down the YouTube track so I can hear you sing the verse slower? And that's also very, very useful. At the same time, you should have a metronome app already on your iPad. And the one that I like is called Pro Metronome. We actually have a dedicated video showing you how to use that app. But very good idea to already have a metronome. So that way you can, when the teacher says, can you put a metronome? Can you put it on 80? And let's try to do this clapping exercises for sight reading, those are things that you're not going to be losing time, you are already ready for. So I think that pretty much covers the tips that we have for this video. We're trying to keep the video somewhat short. So once again, if you are interested into what we do here at the Hit Music Studio, visit us at thehitmusicstudio.com, and thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.